Hey kids, it's Robin again. I got another sales tip for hiring, finding good salespeople for running that profitable three-ring sales circus with ease so that you don't come apart at the seams and feel like you're getting, just tossed and turned and don't know what you're doing. And the second tip that I've got for you to get your salespeople to perform is to know your metrics. And what I mean by metrics is you have to know your funnel numbers. What do I mean by funnel numbers? Funnel numbers are how many leads do you get? How many leads turn into appointments? Not all of them will because they might not be qualified. But how many leads do you get? How many appointments do you get? How many of those first appointments turn into a proposal? How many of those proposals actually sell and close? So your closing rate from proposal to actual contract signed and check collected. And then what is the average dollar amount of that? Now, if you don't know those numbers, you are flying blind. If you're trying to give somebody a quota, you're just wetting your finger, sticking in the air and guessing, because you need to know what that funnel is in order to see how to improve, where's the funnel falling apart, and also to give your sales rep the activities they need in order to hit their quota. So, I'll just give you some numbers here. So in our business, we have two different sales departments. One sells all of our products like the toolkit and accelerators club and done for you services, etc. And then we have another sales team that sells sponsorship and works with the vendors, right? So the sponsorship team is probably closest to your model in how you sell professional IT services. So if we are looking at getting sponsors, and let's say that my reps goal is $100,000 a month in revenue collected. Now that's another thing you gotta be really clear on. Is it revenue collected or contracts closed? I look at revenue collected. So they have a goal of getting $100,000 a month. Then what we look at then next is how many opportunities do we need in order to get 100,000? Well, let's say the average opportunity, and this is true, it's roughly opportunity, not the whole contract of the client, but each individual sponsorship opportunity. The average is about $10,000 per opportunity. So if they got a $100,000 a month goal, they got to have at least 10 opportunities closed, right? And I know that our close rate is about 60%. So if we are going to get $100,000 in closed collected revenue, average ticket, for each individual sponsorship opportunity is $10,000. We need 10 sales. And I know that from measuring this and tracking this in this last, like in this last 6-7 months, that we are closing 60% of the initial opportunities that we meet with, right? So to get 10 opportunities, we're going to need like 16, 17 opportunities to get 10 sales closed at roughly about $10,000 to hit the $100,000 quota. You see where I'm going with this? So if we need 17 opportunities, I also know an opportunity, just to be clear, an opportunity is a conversation with a sponsor who says, hey, yeah, I'm interested. Like they genuinely show interest. So I'm not talking just, casual. I'm saying this is, an interested prospect. So if we need 17 opportunities, and I know that from our prospecting, we get about a 10% connect and meaningful conversation. So for every 100 sponsor prospects we call on, we end up getting an opportunity, a genuine opportunity with about 10% of them. So that means that every month, we need about 170 opportunities, or 170 prospects that we need to call on to get 17 opportunities, to have 60% of them closed, to get to 10 sales at an average of 10,000, 100,000. So you get the idea. Like, I know my number. So if I hire a new rep, and I'm about to actually, because we're always hiring and we're growing. But if I hire a new rep, it's not like, hey, good luck and hang in there, prospect more and call more people and motivational rah, right? I can give them a funnel and say, look, in order for you, if your numbers are the same as the other reps, we need to call on 170 prospects every month. So if we do the math and we say we need 170 prospects, and we have a process for how to prospect them, If I divide that by 4 weeks, that means they better be calling on about 42, 43 prospects every single week using a prospecting process we have that uses, phone calls and LinkedIn and email. And there's a whole process, but they better be calling on that many per week in order to get the opportunities, in order to get the sales. And I can tell you week by week, long before. See, I don't have to wait until the rep is 6 months working with me to go, they ain't closing anything or they're not going to make it. I know within the first month, if I look at their first week and they only prospected, 15 people, I'm going, what the heck? Tell me why you only prospected 15, because you got it, if numbers play out, you need like 42. And if I were you, I'd be calling 50 just to make sure, you go a little above and beyond. Next week comes and they only prospect 40. Well, it's still below. And now you're not just 10 below. If we say 50 is the goal, you're way below that because you got to make up for last week, and it just kind of compounds. So I can tell if a rep's going to make it or not early, just based on, are they prospecting? Are they following the system? Are they following the process? I don't need to wait a month, 2 months, 3 months to see whether or not they're going to make it, because if a salesperson's not going to do the activities that you've outlined for them, they're not going to make it. I mean, that's the number one reason why most salespeople don't hit their quota, is they don't do enough prospecting activities or outbound activities, whether that outbound is to existing clients and meeting with them and talking to existing clients, or it's prospecting for new business. Number one reason, because even a stop clock will be right twice a day. So if they're prospecting, maybe their numbers are going to totally suck. Maybe they have to call 500 people before they get an opportunity instead of, 50 people. Whatever the numbers are, everybody has to make up in numbers what they lack in skill, but everybody has numbers, and you got to be doing some activities. So my second tip, again, to bring this all together, I got my calculator here. My second tip for you is, in addition to the scorecard, but the second tip is you got to know your funnel, and you got to start tracking it for your business. And the numbers are there. You're probably just not tracking it. Go back in history. Go back last year. Go back to the last 6 months. How many leads came in? How many of those leads turned into an appointment? How many of those appointments went to a proposal? And how many of those proposals closed? And what was the average dollar amount? So again, I'll just give you another quick little formula. You want someone to close $200 or $2,000 a month in new MRR, that would make you super excited. If your average client is $1,000 a month, that means they need 2 clients at $1,000 a month to add $2,000 in new MRR every month. Now, let's suppose they are, the average on closing, they close 25% of new opportunities. That's the industry average. That means they need 8 proposals. And to get the 2 clients at $1,000 per month. Let's say that not every first meeting goes to proposals, so there's going to be a little drop off there. Let's say they need 10 appointments to get 8 proposals to get 2 clients at $1,000 a month to add 2,000 MRR, and to get 10 meetings, maybe they have to prospect 100 people and they can get maybe a 10% hit rate, right? So we need to prospect 100 people every single month to get maybe 10 meetings or opportunities at 8 proposals. So you get the idea. Whatever the numbers are, I don't know if there's going to be your numbers. I just threw out some general ones. These aren't too far out of the scope of reality, but you got to go back in your history of your company and what you've been doing. How many leads turned into appointments? How many appointments turned into a proposal? How many proposals closed? And then what was the average dollar figure? And so that gives you your funnel percentages, and then you go to work on improving it, because maybe your close rate is 10%, not 25% or 50%, and maybe that's where you go to work. Or maybe your close rate's just fine and the average dollar amount is just fine, but you're not getting enough appointments, so you got to pour on the energy there. By knowing your funnel metrics, not only can you coach a new salesperson and give them a perfect blueprint on how to succeed at your company, but you can manage your people very objectively, not subjectively, not saying, I don't think you're trying real hard. I mean, you're either doing the activities or you're not, and we can tell by your numbers if you're being productive, if you're being successful or not, and it's not a drama scene. It's not, this person doesn't like me or you have it in for me, it's too hard, but it doesn't matter. All that goes away when you go by the numbers. It takes all the drama out of it. It also takes all the guesswork out of it. So that's my second tip for running a profitable 3-ring sales circus in finding and hiring and managing a productive sales force. Again, at boot camp, gonna cover this in detail. So you gotta get registered. Boot camp's coming up really quick. And this is just one of the sessions we're gonna go into, and I know this is something every single one of my clients struggles with. So get yourself registered. You're gonna get the appointment generating miracle, which is all about hiring, managing, and running a productive appointment setting person or team of people. And that's gonna be just invaluable to you to really skyrocket your growth. Because the number one reason that businesses don't grow is they simply don't have enough prospects coming into the funnel who want to give them money. And we're going to solve that for you at boot camp and in that appointment generating miracle. Okay, so get registered and I'll see you.